G'day legends, it's Heinzie here. We're back again for another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. If you're brand new to this channel, smash that red button. It's super important to help us create this awesome channel and make it even more awesome than it is. So guys, one of my favorite formats in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, surprise, surprise, is Grand Arena Championships, GAC for short. We really enjoy it. It's a good test. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of emotion, which is great. And it's all part of that. It's a great little format to play. But my question is, how do we make GAC better than it already is? I mean, it's pretty amazing, don't get me wrong, and it's probably the best format out there at the moment, probably because there's no other content kicking around, but we'll come back to that another time. How do we make GAC better? Well, I asked the question to a lot of my friends in the Heinzie server, and of course all the Patreons, guests, past and present, people in the server as well, and said, guys, what can we do to make GAC better than it already is? And I've got the answers for you. We've been through it, and I've been asking a few people, but look, let's start with the fundamentals. Let's start with that. Heinzie's best aspects of GAC tournaments, guys. So we've done a bit of a quick list here. The best parts of GAC are pretty simple. The opportunity to test your roster and gain playabilities against a similar opponent. So obviously we know that it picks the top 80 galactic power characters that you have and groups you together. That makes it really an interesting matchup. There's mod variations that aren't allowed for. There's Zeta variations that aren't allowed for. It's, you know, it can be a bit of a sketchy mix, but overall I think the matchups are pretty fair. You do get some real anomalies from time to time, but overall it's pretty good. Again, the variation of 3v3 to 5v5 is certainly something that changes things up a bit. It's not just a conventional 5v5 setup, the traditional lineup. Some guys like the 3v3. It's pretty cool theory crafting, something a little bit different, but it was obviously really difficult last year when Malik was around because you couldn't beat the guy. So that certainly put a bit of a damper on 3v3 for a while, but they brought it back, and since Relics came out, 3v3 has really excelled and obviously been a lot more competitive since then. So again, 3v3 is certainly fun when they change that up a little bit instead of your conventional 5v5, which, you know, we do in territory wars all the time, so it's nice to just change it up from time to time. So I personally like that. I think that's a pretty cool little dynamic from time to time there. And of course, the best part of GAC in general, guys, it ain't sign up, the 24-hour sign up period. That's not the best part. It's certainly not the defense setting. That's definitely not the best part of GAC either. The best part by far is the attack phase. That's the part that matters. That's the part that's fun. That's the part that's exciting. That's the part that's emotional. That's the part that we want to get right. So with that in mind, guys, I've obviously put together how can we improve GAC from that point, and it's pretty simple by cranking it up a bit. I'm going to call it Ultimate Grand Arena for the sake of this video. You can call it Grand Arena 2.0. You can call it whatever the heck you like. It doesn't matter, but you're going to get the point. So basically, guys, if we work towards the same type of format but make it a little bit more supercharged, it's just that little bit more interesting in my opinion. So Ultimate Grand Arena, this is how I think we can improve Grand Arena. Day one, you do your standard sign up phase, 24 hours. We know how that works. Everyone's got 24 hours to sign up. That works against the time zones everywhere across the world, even down here, down under in Australia. So guys, at the end of the day, the sign up phase, don't change that in any way, shape or form. However, things change from there. Day two, the matchup kicks in as normal and you set your defense. You have 24 hours, like currently you have 24 hours to set a defense as it is, or defense or defense or whatever you want to call it, depending on where you are in the world, of course. But I would highly recommend a brand new division be created, of course, for rosters that have galactic legends in them. So at the moment we go from Division 1 to Division 12, I think off the top of my head. After Division 1 go Galactic Legend Division. I think that if you have Galactic Legend Rey or Galactic Legend Kylo Ren, I think you should be in your own grouping. I think that's really important. You've invested a lot into that, and if there's one person with a Galactic Legend at this stage in your roster grouped in with people without it, it's a really unfair advantage. To be honest, I've been working through it. I know that there are counters coming out to take on Galactic Legend Rey specifically, which is quite hard on defense, but it takes so much away from other teams and lineups. It still really hurts you when it comes to either setting a defense or an offense. It's a really unbalanced approach to GAC. It makes it very difficult. So put everyone in the same division. It's not rocket science. Set up another grouping for Legends Division. It's really simple. Anyway, that's what I believe. I think that would make sense. Now, I also think that the defense set should be one for the round of 3. Well, as we know it so far, the round of 3, I say set the defense once only. Now, this then gives you some interest. And what I mean by that is that you need to basically decide from this point, one defense setup, whether you're going to go a full defense lineup and try and scrape through with a little bit for attack, whether you're going to balance it out 50-50 and try and get some wins and get enough points in the other person and aim for a full clear and not run short. Or you can obviously go a really light defense setup and then have plenty to attack along the way, but might get caught against some of the other harder ones on defense if someone else has set them differently. So setting the defense once for the round of your matchups, I think that makes sense. In my opinion, I think that would actually make you think a little bit harder at the start which way you're on a roll. Now, with that in mind, this is where things get fun. This is where things get crazy. Days 3 to 7. Okay, so every day between 3 to 7. One 24-hour attack phase. Basically, instead of at this stage taking on 3 opponents in your grouping, you take on all 5. So the idea is that you've got 5 straight days, 24 hours of battles per person, and I believe that this is more even. This way, people that, for instance, at this stage are matched up against a galactic legend that doesn't have one, everyone's facing that roster with a galactic legend, just not a few people. I think that that's more even. Some people will obviously be more successful over that. Some won't, and that will cost them in their wins. I think that that's probably a more even outlook. Plus, let's be honest, the attack phase is the fun bit. Who doesn't want more fun? Last I remember, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is a game, right? It's not really politics or any of that sort of stuff. It's a game. Why not have some more fun? I know it's this really crazy idea, right? So at the end of the day, 5 attack phases, 24 hours in a row, already got your defense set. That's locked in. You need to then strategize your way through those 5 days of battles. I think that would be a heck of a lot more fun, in my opinion. When it comes to ship zones, 2 fleet setups. We've only ever had 1 fleet, if fleets have even been in the Grand Arena lineup. So imagine if we had 2 in there. Now that we actually have more capital ships and more capital fleets, for instance, we have Radis, we have Finalizer now, Negotiators come along early, since obviously Akbar was there. Even chucking Mace into the mix if he ever gets a rework, that's a whole different story. But at the end of the day, we have enough capital ships now to be able to create probably 2 fleets to attack, and if not, well, people that obviously didn't really work on ships originally could find it hard to beat. So I think that might obviously give those with ships a bit of an advantage for a change instead of it being a bit of a dead spot. So maybe setting 2 fleets in a defense or an attack position, I think would be a little bit more interesting, and again, a little bit more strategic. I think that makes sense. Now, obviously, like always, after each wave or each 24-hour window, if you win, you get, of course, the same type of points as you currently get score-wise. That doesn't change, but the one that gets the most points, and mind you, the one that gets the most banners across all 5 battles, so all 6 that you've been battled against. It's a better, what we would call a round robin sort of strategy. You're actually battling everyone. Everyone is battling everyone in your matchup. There's no unfair advantages. That everyone is in the same position and battled everyone along the way and strategized differently. I think that they should obviously deserve the win if they've obviously been able to achieve a lot more across the 5 battles, not just 3. I think that makes a bit more sense. Now, when it comes to rewards, you're attacking a lot more. You're certainly a lot more involved in the strategy, and obviously all of the layouts and the defense. You're spending a bit more time, of course, than a standard GAC to make sure that you're as successful as possible. So rewards should be something that obviously makes it worthwhile as well. And that's what I'm saying. At the end of the final attack at the moment, we get a couple of Zetas if you've done well, some other bits and pieces, maybe 1 or 2 Kairos. But here's a crazy idea. You've been attacking for 5 days straight. How about chucking some rare relic materials in there? It wouldn't hurt. I think that people have obviously spent 6 days working on it, very much like a territory battle, and obviously, people have worked very, very hard for these rewards. why not give them some relic materials for it instead of just your standard bits and pieces and Zetas that you can get every dime a dozen these days with all the different events around? I think that that would actually make it that little bit more interesting. Only my opinion, guys, and I would love to hear what you think. Really, it's a really interesting concept. This isn't just my idea. Again, we've been speaking to a few different people to get their opinion on how things work out, but we personally believe that this would make a massive difference to GAC. I think it would make it more fun, a lot more exciting. There would be a lot more, interest in this format, and it's great right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's no good, but everything can be improved. And you're kidding yourself if you can sit on your laurels and say, you know what, we're doing a good thing here and that's about it. No, we want you to be better. We want you to excel, and we want this to be even more fun than it already is. Hit the comments up below, guys. I'd love to hear what you say. Give me your ideas. If you've got better ones, if you've got worse ones, if you think I'm absolutely out of my tree, please let me know. It would be great. Any feedback is awesome. And as I said, please, guys, smash that red button. It's super important. It makes a massive difference. It really does. We'll see you on the next video, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I will annoy you, I'm sure, soon with another video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you.